Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Options Mentor. Well, we had a market that was very happy with Jerome Powell's remarks at the Jackson Hole Economist Conference. We ran up very quickly on Friday, stalled out right around the all-time highs, and here we sit heading into the last week or last full week of August, and then we'll be coming up on a three-day weekend next weekend. So let's take a look at what happened here. Of course, with this move, volatility has dropped fairly significantly. In fact, if you look at where we were the other day, right now, I think we ended the day at 1422 on Friday, had a low, it was around 1418 or so. We haven't been this low of volatility since last December, right around Christmas. So the market is very complacent, very happy with the idea that there'll be a rate cut this September. But with complacency and a very thin market, because you're going to have that here in the last part of August, you can have some real mishaps with the market going down, VIX spiking, that type of thing. As a matter of fact, let's take a look here. Look at last August, the end of it. Look at this, all the way down here, bottoming out. And then kaboom, right? We went up crazy. What was that? September 3rd. Market really went up wild. If we look at it over here on the SPX, same thing. We're all the way up here. And if we look at last September, crashity, crashity, right? And September is, of course, traditionally one of the worst months of the year, or the worst months of the year for the market. So all this sets us up to be perfectly comfortable being long volatility. You say, Mark, volatility keeps dropping. Well, how much lower do you think it's going to go, right? This is the end of the summer. You're heading into what's generally a more tough month. Yes, a rate cut's coming, but I would suggest to you that that's already priced in. In fact, when Powell basically said you're getting one the other on Friday, he basically said you're getting one in September. The market only could muster its previous all-time high levels. It couldn't punch through 6,500. Now it may do that, but it does seem like we've put everything into this thing that we can put in it. So what can we do with this? I had thought about a fly diagonal, like we've talked about a lot of times. But the more I thought about it, I thought, no, especially when you look at things, why not be a little bit long Vega? Yeah, I think it makes more sense to be long Vega here. You can't, a lot of times you get long Vega and it works, or maybe you put on something long Vega at 16 and change on the VIX. Well, if you liked it then, you have to love it here, right? How much lower would it realistically go? Probably for it to go 2 points lower, I don't even know how far back in time we'd have to go to get down to the low 12s. But uh, I'm totally comfortable here with long Vega. And this coming week, we do have a couple of things that you need to be aware of. One of which is on Thursday, the GDP, often a big market mover, as it can also inform the Fed on rates, and also the PCE, supposedly the Fed's favorite inflation number. Now that'll come out on Friday. So I want to try to avoid this Friday's expiration if I can, right? Now, if you're already in something, if I could get an exit, make a little money, I'd probably take it and not try to wait till later in the week. But there's an excellent chance that as the week goes on, the IV of this Friday's options, which would be the 29th, will keep elevating and make it tough for your theta to show through. So I think we should go out at least one more week to September 5th. I don't have a problem if you go out another week to September 12th for this trade I'm going to show you. Now, this is a trade I don't believe I've ever shown on the YouTube channel. It's another combo trade. With this trade, you have the diagonal on the bottom. You guys have seen a lot of the fly on top, diagonal on the bottom. I did look at that and it looked terrible. So, and not only that, IV's low, so I'm not that afraid of it anyway. And then what I did is I put a calendar on the top. So a calendar on the top and a put diagonal on the bottom. You said, well, Mark, why would you do that? Why is the put diagonal on the bottom? Well, that's easy. What did I just show you? the market can very often crater in this environment. What's going to give me the most support to the downside? A put diagonal, because my diagonal I'm short is further out of the money, my long is further or closer to the money, right? So that's why the put diagonal's on the bottom. Totally intuitive, should be easy to understand. Why is the calendar on the top? Well, the reason why a calendar is on the top is, once again, if we did go down, a calendar will get hurt worse than a call diagonal because it slopes downward. Plus, we've just shown some resistance up here around 6,500. It might have a hard time punching through. Oh, but Mark, what if it does? Okay. What if you punch through 6,500? What if you go to 6,520? You're not doing anything. You're sitting here watching it. You may have to consider some kind of trade adjustment or repair if we get up around 65.40, maybe even 30, if we do get some kind of a vol drop. And that's fine. That still gives you about 60 points, 70 points really of upside room before you'd have to do something. And then on the downside, really, we wouldn't have to probably act till about 63.70 or so, which gives you about 100 points down. Because as we went down, vol would rise, and this will actually expand a little bit. So to me, this makes perfect sense. Now, if you're a nervous Nelly and you think, I'm too afraid, we're going to go up, well, then you can put the fly on top if you like, or maybe a call diagonal. And I'm not saying we won't, set an all-time high tomorrow morning. We might. I just think that we are most likely, just because it's the end of the year, end of the summer, probably going to kind of run out of traders. Maybe not enough sellers, not enough buyers. Maybe we lay here. Hey, do we care if we lay here? No, we do not, right? So the only thing we really have to fear is a large move in either direction. If you feel like there's another 100 points in the SPX in the next week, I wouldn't recommend this for you. Maybe you should do that fly up here. If you feel like we could trade sideways, maybe up a little higher, this is the trade for you. What about sideways to down? This is the trade for you. So you can have different opinions or even no opinions and still find a way to trade things. So this trade here, if we could get it on at the mid price that's listed here, this is Sunday, of course, we'll have to see how tomorrow goes. Monday, but this is a little over $1,100. And in the center of the trade on expiration, you can make almost 900. Now, I don't want to stay till expiration. I want to be out well before. In fact, I would love to be out of this and think I have a decent chance of it by this Friday, the August 29th. We don't have to be. What if we're around in here and the weekend comes? Well, we can take that 3-day weekend, get into Tuesday. Yeah, it's expiration week, but we still have time. So you could be comfortable with taking it even over this coming 3-day weekend, although I certainly wouldn't mind it getting out this Friday at a 7-8% profit. If you can get 10% then or before, terrific. But I think this kind of a trade makes a lot of sense in this market, and it's the one I'm thinking might be one of the better choices for this week. As always, there's a lot of choices that you can pick for trades to put on. And I know at times lately, being non-directional has been tough at times. But that doesn't mean that the whole philosophy or the whole idea of it is dead. I've been here before. I've been here where you have particularly a strong uptrending market. And if you have a lot of long Vega, yes, that can be problematic at times. But there comes a point whenever you've gone up so long and volatility has gotten so low, you do at least have diminishing chances of the volatility going lower. And like I just showed you, you got to go back to last year to find the volatility as low as this. So you have to put the most things in your favor, which I think something like this does. As always, I do appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and notify button. Check out all my links for joining me every day over at arimer.com and my trade alert service. And also one-on-one mentoring. That's really picking up. People are seeing the value of one-on-one mentoring, which is just you and I in a Zoom meeting room. Sessions are typically, they can be up to an hour, sometimes a little more. Many times they're just 30 minutes during market hours, where I'll take you from whatever level you're at and I'll help develop you. teaching you strategies maybe you don't know or how to manage strategies like this. Also planning, goal setting. What's a realistic goal? How much should I set for a month? What trade profit should I go for if I have this goal? How much money will I need? That type of thing. All part of one-on-one mentoring, as well as it's dialed into where your life is at as a trader. Some folks work every day and they have limited time to look at the market. I think this style is great for you, and we can teach you in one-on-one mentoring how to kind of manage that. Some people want to look at the screen all day. You can still do one-on-one mentoring, and I'll even talk with you how to handle those urges that come along when you stare at a screen all day. What happens? You get itchy fingers a lot of times, and you want to do more than say you should with these trades. So we talk about that. So all those things are there for you, and you can really learn a lot more. This YouTube channel is to introduce you to strategies. It's not to teach you the ins and outs of all the strategies and how to manage them through tough times, but it's just to show you what can be done and ideas. And I appreciate you being here for it. Now, I'll be back here next weekend, Labor Day weekend, with another video for you. We'll see how things went this week and talk about the next week. As always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.